Good day, ma'am. This is Group 4 and we're going to report the chemistry of the environment. First is the Earth's atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere is a layer of gases that surrounds the planet and protects the life on Earth. As you can see in the picture, there are 5 layers of atmosphere. And first layer of the atmosphere is the troposphere. The troposphere is the lowest layer of our atmosphere. Starting at the ground level, it extends upward to about 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles or about 33,000 feet above sea level. The troposphere is where the humans lives and where the clouds or the weather comes and where the rains or evaporations occur. The second layer is the stratosphere. The next layer is up called is the stratosphere. The stratosphere extends from top of the troposphere to about 50 kilometers or 31 miles above the ground. The third layer is the mesosphere. Above the stratosphere is the mesosphere. It extends upward to a height of about 85 kilometers or 53 miles above our planet. Most meteors burns up in the mesosphere. So the mesosphere is the one that stops the meteor from coming to Earth to make damage or cause danger to us. The fourth is the thermosphere. The layer of very rare above the mesosphere is called the thermosphere. High energy X-rays and UV radiation from the sun are absorbed in the thermosphere, raising its temperature to hundreds or at times thousands of degrees. And the thermosphere, this is where most of the satellites can be located in our atmosphere. The lastly is the exosphere. As you might imagine, the air in the exosphere is very, very thin, making this layer even more space-like than the thermosphere. And there are also, you can learn in the exosphere, if you are in the exosphere, you are in the halfway of the moon. So human activities in Earth's atmosphere. First, the activities of humans is burning of fossil fuels has increased the concentration of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Second, deforestation. Deforestation is a major environmental issue that impacts the climate, biodiversity, and balance of ecosystem. Third, air pollution. Solid and liquid particles and gases from car and truck exhaust, factories, dust, pollen, mold spores, volcanoes, and wildfire pollute the air, and this can contribute to the greenhouses. Lastly, other greenhouse gases. Methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases are also greenhouse gases that contributes to climate change, which can lead into global warming. So this is the global warming. Global warming refers to the long term of warming of the planet. And sometimes nature is also the cause of the global warming, but because of the human activities, it begins more catastrophically warming and our earth is getting warmer and warmer day by day. Solution, ending our reliance on fossil fuels. So we need to rely also on renewable energy, not just on the fossil fuels. Second, greater energy efficiency. So we need to save and conserve energy, not just use it every day. Third, renewable energy. As I said before, we need to innovate to a more sustainable and clean energy like renewable energy. Lastly, better forestry management and sustainable agriculture. So we need to sustain our agriculture environment for the trees to live and contribute to our environment. And that is my report, and the next reporter will discuss.
So good day everyone. So I will be discussing the Earth's water. So the Earth's water is the main reason for life on Earth, which continuously circulates the Earth, consisting of 70% of the Earth's surface. So water flows endlessly between the ocean, atmosphere, and land, which consists of the Earth's water. Earth's water is finite, meaning that the amount of water in, on, and above our planet does not increase or decrease. Next, we have the water cycle. The water cycle describes how water evaporates from the Earth's surface, then rises into the atmosphere, then cools and condenses to form clouds and falls again to the surface as precipitation. So I will be showing you the diagram of the water cycle. First, we have evaporation. where water from oceans, rivers, and lakes and other bodies of water heat up due to the sun's energy, then changes into water vapor rising into the atmosphere. Next, we have condensation, which is the second step. As water vaporizes and cools, it turns back into tiny liquid droplets forming clouds, which this process is called as condensation. Lastly, we have precipitation, when water droplets and clouds combine and grow too heavy to remain suspended. They fall to the earth as rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Next is human activities and Earth's water. So first we have hydroelectricity, which involves changing the stored gravitational energy of water held behind the dam into electrical energy that can be used. An example of this is the Maria Cristina Falls, powers powers the Agos 6 hydroelectric plant, one of the several hydroelectric plants that harnesses the Agos River. The power plant has a 200 million watts potential capacity supplied by a water flow of about 130 cubic meters per second to produce electricity. Next, we have irrigation, mostly used in farmlands and crops. Irrigation is the artificial watering of land that does not get enough water through rainfall. So irrigation can be used to as artificial watering of land when El Nino or drought occurs in a certain environment. Lastly, we have deforestation, which is the removal of trees, and is a major impact on the water cycle as local and global climate changes occur. Because without trees, the water from rain will flash out into the remaining land, uh, forcing it to become mudslides and landslides. The next topic will be soil.
So now let's talk about Earth's soil. So let's define what is soil. So kabalo naman ta na unsa nang soil. So mo na tong ginaapakan ron dahil sa loose surface material that covers most land. It consists of inorganic particles and organic matter. So kabalo naman ta. So next. So this is the type of soil. So number one is the sand. So sand is used to provide bulk strength and other properties to constructions, materials like asphalt or espalto and concrete. So ginagamit siya sa Bisaya terms so mo ning buhangin nga ginagamit nato sa semento, pangmasa, sa mga kalsada ug ban pang mga sa mga concrete nga mga concrete. So next is second type is the clay. So mo ning katong ano tong lapukon nga yuta is the incredibly small particles. This means that clay has very little air spaces allowing almost no drainage. So mo tong mga kaning clay is mo ning lapukon nga yuta. So next is the silt. So kaning silt is kaning katuning yuta nga ginatamnan og mga gulay kay daghan siya og nutrient and good drainage siya. Katuning tambok nga yuta nga gitawag nato og humus. So next, loam. So ang kaning loam is a type of soil that combination of sand, silt, and clay in roughly equal parts. So nagsagol na ang buhangin diri og katong humus nga yuta o kato ang lapokon nga yuta nanag mo ni ang loam. So next slide is the soil profile is the soil is the topmost layer of the earth's crust, mainly composed of organic minerals and rock particles that support life. So ang kaning soil profile is mo ni ang vertical section of the soil that that reveals its layer. Ginatawag po ni siya og horizon from the surface to underlying the rock. So pinakauna nga layer no is ang horizon. So dire kani nga layer is mo ni ang humus nga ang naalang dire is mga organic matter lang like leaves, twigs and other decomposed organic matter nga ginatawag nato og humus. Mo na ang pinakauna nga layer. So ikaduha nga layer is ang horizon or ginatawag siya og topsoil. So mo na ang yuta lang yun kaning diri nga layer is nadri ang kuan na siya sagol na siya minerals na napoy humus nga yuta. This is the uppermost of layer of soil nga ginatawag o nato nga horizon. So ikatulo is the horizon or the elevation layer. So diri nga layer no is nanadiri ang katong gikan sa topsoil ni napaingon na diri ang katong ang murag gisala kay baliba nga na leach na diri ang leach minerals o mga organic matters. So ikaupat is ang B horizon or the subsoil ginatawag subsoil. So diri ang layer is diri ang mga deposit minerals or ang mga metals nga metal salt. So next is the C horizon or the saprolite or ginatawag po siya og parent rock. So kani nga layer is na partially with the rock siya. So bot pasabot is kaning wala pa kayo na nga dugmok ang mga bato diri ana pagapoy mga bato nga dagko pero napoy mga bato nga gagmay pero dili pa gyud siya whole nga nadugmok pa. So next horizon so or ginatawag siya nga bedrock. So but diri is unweathered parent rock na siya. So wala gyud siya di unlike sa kuan si horizon is ni undergo siya og kuan kani ang breaking down processes. Diri sa horizon is wala na gyud siya ni undergo breaking down processes or unweathered. Itawag siya og parent rock. This layer is solid rock layer beneath the soil that it serves the source material for the soil over long geological time scale. So let's welcome the next reporter, Mr. Jerry Katubig.
So, how human activity has changed Earth and Earth's land surface. Land changed by human activity. Vulnerable and endangered species are primarily threatened by habitat loss and fragmentation, which are largely caused by agricultural expansion. As fertile land is cleared for farming, ecosystems are destroyed, and species lost their homes. Habitat fragmentation isolate remaining natural areas, making it harder for species to survive and reproduce. Agriculture, especially in fertile areas, reduce biodiversity and disrupt vital ecosystem function for the endangered species. So, ang mga endangered species daw, ang ilang mga balay sa motog kagubal daw tungod sa kasahagaran tungod sa mga sa farmers. Next. So, soil erosion. Soil erosion occurs when the fertile top layer of soil is worn away, primarily due to human activities like deforestation and intense agriculture. More than 68 billion tons of topsoil are eroded annually at a rate 100 times faster than it can naturally replenish. This leads to reduced agricultural productivity, land degradation, and water pollution as soil loss decrease fertility and harms ecosystem. So, nakuan gyapon sa mga human tungod ng mga deforestation mo nang sabot landslide mo nang nagaguba mo nang nagkakanog soil erosion. So, toxic chemicals. So, as peats become resistant to biocides, stronger and more toxic chemicals are developed, increasing environmental and health risks. Additionally, nitrogen-rich fertilizers lower soil pH, making the soil more acidic, which can enhance the toxicity of these chemicals, harming plants, animals, and beneficial soil organisms. So, nanaghan man ang mga pesticide. So, daghan po mga chemical nga para patay ato gagabuhat gapon nga tawo mo nang tungod ato nangaguba gapon ang mga plants nato. So, eutrophication. So, fertilizer fumes and vehicle exhaust combine to form toxic compounds that cause respiratory issues and contribute to acid rain. Acid rain damages forests, agricultural land, and alters soil chemistry. So this pollution also run off into waterways, causing eutrophication, which harms aquatic ecosystem by depleting oxygen and disrupting balance. So next. So, solution. Dito sa solution. Ano ang atong baton? To protect soil health, use a tailored fertilizer to address nutrient deficiencies. So avoid soil compaction by limiting foot traffic and machinery. So implement erosion and control measures like mulching and wind breaks. So and reduce the excessive use of chemical fertilizer and pesticides to safeguard soil organism. So mo to atong solution. So the next reporter is Dave.
So, good PM. Green chemistry. What is green chemistry? Green chemistry is design of products and process to minimize or eliminate use of hazardous substance. Which means, ang focus niya or ang main reason niya nung nag-exist ang green chemistry is to eliminate any hazardous substance like pollution that harms us humans and our environment. Importance of green chemistry. So ako lang isang summarize para di na mapakuan. Green chemistry is a vital for environmental protection, sustainability, and public health, which is focused on reducing hazardous substance, like what I said, promoting efficient use of materials and minimize pollution and waste, which is also secure and ensure healthy and safety environment for us humans, our environment, daily and healthy living. How green chemistry prevents pollution? Green chemistry reduces pollution and is sourced by minimizing or eliminating the hazard or chemicals feedstock. And it means nga ang purpose gives sa green chemistry kay eliminate ang any harmful substance or hazardous substance nga magka-cause og harm sa atua o sa atong environment. Like for example, ana kay ang reagents, solvents, and product. And then next. So, na siya 12 ka principles which likely nga or reasons nga no nag-exist ang green chemistry which mo ilang foundation nga no na ay green chemistry. Ako lang siyang i-enumerate sa inyo kung isa to siya. Pollution prevention, atom economy, list hazardous chemical synthesis, design safer chemicals, safer solvents and auxiliaries, design for energy efficiency, use renewable as raw materials, and much more. And examples of green chemistry. Number one is cooking peanuts made from renewable plants, starch, that can be composted and are much less hazardous than styrene. So, prioritize yun sa green chemistry ang safety o mas ginaplan nila nga kita mapalayo sa any hazard substance. Number two, bisphenol thermal receipts that use imaging technology other than toxic bisphenol A, BPA, and bisphenol S, BPS. And that is for our report, ma'am. Thank you.